Hey folks, today we just want to share a few things you're going to want to consider when you're looking for a backpacking stove. Now when you're looking at backpacking stoves, there are two main types you're going to see. You're going to see canister stoves and you're going to see liquid gas stoves. So canister stoves like this Snow Peak Gigapower use a pre-pressurized gas canister that attaches directly to the stove body. And a couple things that are really nice about canister stoves is first that they're really easy to use. All you have to do is screw the bottle onto the stove, spark it up and you're cooking. Other thing is they pack up really small and lightweight. Without the canister, this whole Snow Peak stove fits in this little tiny box, doesn't weigh hardly a thing. There are a couple drawbacks you're gonna wanna keep in mind. The first being really cold conditions. If you're using this for winter camping, expeditions, the fuel in the canister has a hard time vaporizing and it's going to affect your performance, sometimes not work at all. So one thing you can do with that, if it is really cold, you can keep the canister in your jacket pocket or in your sleeping bag to keep the temperature up a little bit, and that's going to help cold weather performance. Now, the other thing to consider is that you can't use a windscreen with a canister stove. You can build a windbreak on one side, but you have to make sure that the canister stays well ventilated. And that's because if you wrap a windscreen all the way around this, sometimes the canister can heat up, and if it gets hot enough, it can potentially explode, which is dangerous and you don't want to do it. The other type of canister stove system you're going to see are integrated canister stove systems, kind of like the Jetboil, where the canister attaches directly to the stove, but then that attaches directly to the cooking pot. And these are really nice because they're really convenient, like all canister stoves. But because the system attaches directly to the pot and they have this heat transfer ring in there, it really solves the windscreen problems. You're going to get faster boil times. The cooking pot is attached to the stove body. It can kind of limit what you can cook. And so if you just need to boil water for your backpacking trip and for your cooking needs, integrated canister system, definitely the easiest, most convenient way to go. Now liquid gas stoves like this MSR Whisper Light are really the proven workhorses of backcountry cooking. And even though they're a little bit heavier and bulkier than some of the canister stoves, they're going to give you certain advantages where some of the canister stoves might fall short. Most of them run on white gas, which is really hot, and so it's going to put out a little bit more cooking power than some of your canister stoves. And some liquid fuel stoves are even multi-fuel stoves. So once they're properly jetted, you can burn diesel, gasoline, aviation fuel. Really, they'll burn just about anything. So if you're doing international travel, you're in really remote areas, it gives you a lot of versatility. You're going to be able to find some fuel that's going to work with your stove. Or because the fuel connects to the stove with a fuel line, you can fully wrap a windscreen around there. And so if you're in really exposed, windy conditions, you're going to get a lot better performance. The other thing that is nice is the pump that goes in the bottle. You create your own pressure. You're not depending on a pre-pressurized fuel canister. So really high altitude, really cold weather, you can pump that thing, get enough pressure, get your stove to perform. So there are a couple things you're going to want to keep in mind with these liquid fuel stoves. The first being that they're a little harder to set up, so you're going to want to familiarize yourself and practice before you head out. And they do require some occasional maintenance, so every once in a while you're going to want to clean the components, make sure your performance stays the way it should. The other thing just to keep in mind is you are going to be carrying liquid fuel, so you want to make sure that that cap is really screwed tight on the bottle, because if you get it all over in your pack, it's going to be a real mess. But other than that, liquid fuel stoves, great proven way to go. So we really just scratched the surface here with backpacking stoves and the options that are out there for you. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call in with the gearheads. They've got all the answers at backcountry.com.